Par trois. Ranking the strongest Capricorn birthdays. Are you one of them? Tier 2. The Capricorns born under extreme Saturn pressure. This is where Capricorn energy becomes heavy, not metaphorically. Littéralement. Tier 2 Capricorns are born when Saturn's influence tightens its grip. These are not gentle lessons. These are pressure cooker lives if Tier 3 Capricorns were shaped by loss. Tier 2 Capricorns were shaped by constant resistance. January 5, January 8. If you were born between these dates, your life likely feels like one long test after another. Progress that never comes easily. Success that must be earned the hard way. Nothing is handed to you. Everything is built. The energy of extreme resistance. Tier 2 Capricorns don't just face obstacles. They face delays, detours, closed doors. Authority figures who challenge them. Systems that seem designed to slow them down. And yet, they keep going. Nasdere optimistique. But, because quitting is not in their nature, why these Capricorns feel heavy to others. People often describe Tier 2 Capricorns as intense, serious, emotionally solid, slightly intimidating. Even when they requiet, their presence felt, there's behind their words. And silence around them feels meaningful, not empty. This comes from years of internal pressure management. They've learned to carry stress without showing it. Emotional architecture of Tier 2. Emotionally, these kan trolls lototrost. Extremely selective with vulnerability. They don't open easily. Why? Because every time they did in the past, life tested that vulnerability. So they built armor. Not emotional walls, but emotional fortresses. Their relationship with authority and power. Tier 2 Capricorns often clash with authority early in life. Not because they are a rebellion, but because flaws in systems. They recognize inefficiency, weak leadership, empty rules. And that creates friction. Ironically, this prepares them to become authority figures themselves later on. They don't crave power. They respect competence. Why their success comes late but lasts longer. Here's the pattern: early life, struggle, midlife, restructuring. Later life, dominance. Tier 2 Capricorns often bloom later than others. But when they do, they don't fall. Their success is stable. Rooted, unshakable. Because it was built under pressure. The loneliness of extreme strength. There is a quiet loneliness in Tier 2 Capricorns, not because they lack people, but because few people can relate to their endurance. Match their discipline, understand their silence. They often feel like, I operate on a different frequency, and in many ways. Dedo. Their true power, unbreakable consistency. Tier 2 Capricorns are terrifying for one reason: they don't stop. They don't burn out easily. They don't lose focus under stress. They don't need motivation speeches. They rely on internal command. Once they decide something is happening, it happens. Éventuellement. The cost of this power. But power always has a price. Tier 2 Capricorns may struggle with emotional softness, letting go, enjoying success. They are always preparing for the next challenge. Sometimes, even when none exists. The moment everything changes. There comes a moment in their lives where they realize, I don't need to prove anything anymore. When this realization hits, something unlocks. They become calmer, more selective, more strategic. And that's when they stop fighting the world and start shaping it. But there is still one tier above this. If Tier 2 Capricorns were born under pressure, Tier 1 Capricorns were born under cosmic authority. These are the rare ones. The ones whose lives feel fated, heavy, intense from the very beginning. They don't just endure Saturn. Te embodies. WHT ma caestirin de ye feferente, Tierin Capricorn, carry leadership energy without trying, trigger reactions in others instinctively, feel older than their age. They don't seek control. Control finds them. The final tier ahead, the next part reveals. The strongest Capricorn birthdays of all. Why these dates produce dominant, commanding personalities, and why these Capricorns often feel misunderstood, feared, or isolated. These are not ordinary individuals. They are built to rule structures, not just survive them. En 9 par 3. Par 4. Ranking the strongest Capricorn birthdays, are you one of them? Tier 1, the strongest Capricorn birthdays. This is not about talent, not about luck, not even about ambition. This is about authority encoded at birth. Tier 1 Capricorns are not simply strong individuals. They are structural forces, people whose presence reorganizes environments, relationships, and outcomes. They don't chase control. Control arrives when they do. December-January 2. If you were born within this window, your life likely feels inevitable, not easy, not smooth, but directed. You may have noticed, authority finds you early. People project expectations onto you. You are trusted with responsibility long before you ask for it. This is Saturn at its most concentrated. The feeling of being different from the start. Tier 1 Capricorns often report the same quiet realization growing up. I don't experience life the way others do. They feel older emotionally, mentally, spiritually. While others experiment, they calculate. While others react, they anticipate. This creates a strange paradox, deep inner confidence, paired with chronic pressure. They know they're capable, but they also feel the weight of expectation constantly. Why these Capricorns are natural authorities. Authority is not dominance, it's gravitational pull. Tierin Capricorn. Speak less, but are listened to more. Move slowly, but decisively. Carry certainty without arrogance. People don't challenge them often, not because they're feared, but because they feel final. The Saturn imprint, structure over emotion. Emotionally, Tier 1 Capricorns are highly contained, rarely impulsive, extremely deliberate. They feel deeply but selectively. Their emotional world is not chaotic, it is structured, and this makes them exceptional in crisis. When others panic, Tier 1 Capricorns organize. Their relationship with power. Unlike other signs, Tier 1 Capricorns don't fantasize about power. They respect systems, hierarchies, long-term outcomes. They don't overthrow structures recklessly. They rebuild them. This is why many Tier 1 Capricorns rise to leadership late but permanently, are trusted with institutions, become pillars others rely on. The shadow of Tier 1 isolation. Here is the cost. Tier 1 Capricorns often feel emotionally separate, misunderstood, alone at the top, not because people dislike them, but because few people can meet them where they operate. Their mind moves in decades. Others move in moments. Why they attract both admiration and resistance. People respond to Tier 1 Capricorns in extremes. They either respect them deeply or feel intimidated without knowing why. This isn't personality, it's energetic authority. Some people rise in its presence. Others feel exposed by it. The moment Tier 1 Capricorns awaken. There is a moment often after hardship when Tier 1 Capricorns realize, I don't need to be harder, I need to be clearer. When clarity replaces pressure, they shift from endurance to command. This is when they delegate instead of carry, lead instead of absorb, choose impact over effort. And this is when their lives accelerate. What makes them unstoppable? Tier 1 Capricorns combine strategic patience, emotional control, long-term vision, moral seriousness. They are not fast starters. They are inevitable finishers. Time is their ally. Comparing all tiers at a glance. Tier 5, stable, grounded, peace-seeking. Tier 4, responsible, early matured, dependable. Tier 3, intense, disillusioned, quietly intimidating. Tier 2, pressure-built, relentless, system-resistant. Tier 1, authoritative, structural, inevitable. Each tier has strength. But Tier 1 carries weight. Are you one of them? If you are a Tier 1 Capricorn, you may have felt, life expects more from you. Rest feels earned, not given. Your path feels heavy but meaningful. This isn't punishment. It's assignment. A final message for all Capricorns. No matter your tier, Remembertis Capricorn strength is not about domination. It's about endurance with direction. The world changes not because of noise, but because of those who quietly hold it together. And Capricorns, especially the strongest ones, were born that finale question, the roof. Where do you rank, and what will you build with that power? En 9 par 4, par 5 finale. Ranking the strongest Capricorn birthdays, are you one of them? The final truth about Capricorn strength. If you've listened this far, there's a reason. Capricorn content doesn't attract everyone. It attracts those who understand pressure. Those who know what it means to carry responsibility quietly. Keep moving when motivation disappears. Build something without applause. Capricorn strength isn't glamorous. Itegat et sirned. Why this ranking matters. This ranking was never meant to divide. It was meant to explain. Explain why some Capricorns feel heavier than others, fait more resist mature faste, or feel like life has always expected more from them. Strength isn't random. In Capricorn, strength is assigned. What each tier was really teaching you. Let's strip it down to the truth. Tier 5 taught stability and peace. Tier 4 taught responsibility and endurance. Tier 3 taught emotional mastery. Tier 2 taught resilience under pressure. Tier 1 taught authority and long-term impact. Each tier exists for a reason. Not everyone is meant to carry the same weight. If you were born in a lower tier, this does not mean you are less powerful. It means your strength is more balanced. Your life may include more ease, your lessons are gentler. Some people are here to build systems. Others are here to live inside them peacefully. Both are necessary. If you were born in a higher tier, be honest with yourself. You've probably felt tired for no obvious reason, responsible even when no one asked, misunderstood when you tried to explain your pressure. That's not weakness, that's Saturn's imprint. You were built to lead when others hesitate, stabilize chaos, hold structures together when they crack. The mistake strong Capricorns often make. Here's the warning no one gives you. Strength does not mean carrying everything alone. Many strong Capricorns burn out because they don't delegate, they don't rest emotionally, they don't allow softness. But Saturn is not asking you to suffer forever. It's asking you to master responsibility, not drown in it. When Capricorn power fully activates, Capricorn power peaks when you learn three things: discipline without self-punishment, authority without control obsession, endurance without emotional isolation. When you integrate these, you stop surviving and start commanding your life. A message from Saturn read this slowly: nothing you went through was wasted. Nothing you carried was accidental. Every delay shaped patience. Every loss shaped discipline. Every obstacle sharpened focus. You were never meant to move fast. You were meant to last. Why people fear strong Capricorns? It's not because you're cold or distant or intimidating. It's because you remind people of responsibility, consequences, long-term reality. And not everyone is ready to face that. Your power is quiet, and that's why it works. The loud burn out, the flashy fade, but Capricorns, they remain, they build. They endure, they finish what others abandon. And history quietly favors them. Finale question, so know your rank. Why your life feels the way it does, and what kind of strength you carry. The only question left is, what will you build with it? What will you outlast? And will you finally stop doubting your power? Ending line: Capricorn was never meant to shine quickly. It was meant to hold the world together. NDOF par 5.